So let me restart this again. I want to talk to you guys about pretenders versus real, right? Pretenders versus real. Let me make sure that we're broadcasting. I don't know what happened there. I broke Facebook apparently, or something like that. All right, you guys are popping back on again. Sweet deal, sweet deal. We're on. We are on. I want to show you something. Yeah, it worked this time. See that? So we just launched this out right last night. Man, this Operation 100K from the 4% group is ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna tell you guys the little idea I had this morning. Okay. So this operation, how many of you guys got started on it? Look at this. We just rolled this out last night, literally last night. Okay, look at all these comments, man. Like what fires me up is seeing people being fired up, you know. Seeing all these people being fired up. And so we got episode 1. See, one of the things that I wanted to do in the industry here, man, is I'm like, how can I, like, if I could have the perfect layout, right, the perfect system that's super easy to follow, that I could like let my 5-year-old in this, right, and I would say, hey, here, go figure it out, right, and he would have no problem figuring it out. Like declutter, decomplicate, right? So, you know, this is how we laid it out. Literally step-by-step process. Boom, you got step number 1. You finish that, you go to step number 2. You finish that, let me know what you think, man. Come on now. 198 comments. We just rolled this out last night, man. Last night, okay? Last night. And this is like insane, man. Insane. Hasn't been 24 hours. Appreciate you guys. If you are going through, woo, look at that. If you're going through the Operation 100K, this is going to be the most incredible thing, I think, that that I have ever done so far. And it's really, really cool because I can deliver it to you the way I want it, right? And the way I'm positioning this, like just like. Look, if you want to, here's the thing. If you want to get results, keep things simple, right? Bottom line, keep things simple. If you're in business of transformation, what is the key element? What are the top 2% of those levers, of those key elements that you need to be focusing on and delivering to your people, right? That will help them get the result that they want. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, man, that's what it comes down to, is keep things simple, right? If you're in like fitness industry, how do I get my people to be fit? Dude, what are the top 2%, right? You eat right. You eat right. That's like 98% of the thing, right? You know, simple things. When it comes to online, but here's the thing though, you've got to be, you know, you've got to be like, you got to keep things simple, but you've got to focus on the right things. How many of you guys agree with that? Right? So what are the simple things, okay, that I can focus on in my business, that when I'm in the position of, look, like this, you know, when I get on a Facebook Live, or when I get into the 4% group, you know, when I have a webinar and there's like, you know, 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 people that show up, dude, whatever I say, I've got to be super careful. Because why? Because I've got people that will do what I will tell them to do, and I've got to be very, 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 very careful, because those not just people, those are families that depend on what I can potentially say, right? That can potentially either help them or hurt them. Make sense? So a lot of times in this space, what is happening now, and this is like, I'm getting passionate about this because you know, I love this industry. You know, I love this industry, and there is no wonder why, you know, the regulatory agencies are now cracking down on a lot of this, you know, a lot of the stuff that's going on in the industries, because, dude, this is such a great amazing industry that can help you provide the lifestyle for yourself, for your family, for your kids, for your grandkids, you know, that can buy you the house you want, that can buy you the car you want, and at the end of the day, it's not even the materialistic things, man. It's really, you have a real shot of you know, potentially transforming somebody's life, like a family's life, right? So with great power comes great responsibility, right? And so what's going on though is a lot of the messaging that's flying around right now in the industry is like, you know, it's really setting people up for failure, right? It's a lot of these people. I'm not gonna call anybody out. It doesn't matter. But you just gotta be in the know, right? I call them pretenders. Okay, pretenders. It's a lot of these people. I'm not gonna call anybody out. It doesn't matter. But you just gotta be in the know, right? I call them pretenders. Okay, pretenders. What is a pretender? Somebody tell me, what do you think, what do you think is a pretender? What do you think is a pretender? Farhan, good to see you here, man. People don't care about your product, man. People care about the result that they want, okay? Wannabe. A pretender is a wannabe, Ninon's saying, yeah? A fake, Alfonso is saying. All show, no substance, okay? I want to know, preaching but not doing. That's a good one, Michael Lyons Jr., okay? An actor. I'm telling you, man, there are some lunches happening right now in this industry where, you know, people literally hire actors to pitch their product, and an actor is like, you know, showing this lifestyle that's definitely fake, screenshots that are definitely fake, you know, and selling garbage. That's fake. You know, sign-ups, I mean, okay, a false copy. Let's see, hype is a pretender. Hype is a pretender. No, hype is not always a pretender, Terrence. I see what you're saying though, man, right? I see what you're saying. But there's healthy hype, there's a destructive hype. Does that make sense? So let me explain to you what hype is not a bad thing. Okay? Hype is a good thing if it's channeled in the right direction. Okay? So, like, a hype can be, right, let's say, if you have something that is, that you know is really, 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 really good, okay? You might present it in a way that's not really attractive, okay? Or you might present it in a way that is very, very attractive without misleading people. Make sense? So it depends how you look at it. But I want to talk about it, though, okay? Because it's a good topic. Okay, pretender is, let's see, pretenders are liars, okay, hype is momentum, leading to legitimate results, right? So check it out, you guys, okay, check it out. Let me ask you a question here, okay? So how many of you here, you want to be a pretender? Crazy question, right? I would probably assume none of you, okay? I don't want to be a pretender. I don't want to be a pretender, okay? What is a pretender? Well, a pretender is somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about, doesn't know what they're doing, doesn't know what they're, they can't, a pretender is somebody who might get results, okay? They might even get results. There are several levels of pretending, right? There's a level to, well, like, when I got started in the industry, 2005, right? There was a lot of people who would say, you know, hey, you know, buy my program or follow me, I'm gonna teach you how to make 20 grand a month. But in reality, that dude is on welfare, getting welfare, right? I mean, he is not even making enough money to support his family, so government needs to help him out. Does that make sense? Nothing wrong with getting a welfare, man. We started out on welfare. You know, when we got to this country, nothing wrong with it, okay? But this is called blind leading the blind, okay? So the guy never got the results. You know, he fakes everything. He fakes the screenshot, and you know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's a pretender. Okay, that's like probably the lowest level of pretender. You want to stay away from him. You know, I surveyed a lot of you guys who are in the 4% group. You guys, or you know, even watched one of my webinars. I think I showed you the stats. 96, I think it's 92%. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 92 or 94% of people online right now are making like less than $1,000 or less than $100 a month, which is crazy. Okay, which is crazy. So there is a 94% chance, okay, of you being of you falling victim to a pretender. 94% chance. That's pretty high. Right? Now what happens here, so that was like the lowest level of pretender. Now there's a step above, okay, these pretender letter, okay, and that is this, okay, somebody might hit you know, a certain level or a certain degree of success. Maybe they got a sale, maybe they got a few sales, maybe they've made 100,000, maybe they've made 20,000, okay? But they did it not because they understood how to do it, okay? But they did it because they either had somebody else do it for them, and they never learned how to do it themselves, okay? They are plugged into some kind of source, okay, that helps them get that result. Okay, now there is nothing wrong with this concept temporarily. Okay, hear me out here. Okay, hear me out. Nothing wrong with that concept temporarily. Okay, it's good to borrow somebody else's credibility. It's good to use somebody else's system that's working. It's good to sell somebody else's product in a way that's selling. Okay, it's good. Okay, nothing wrong with it. But here's where the problem comes in as I see it. Okay, I'm not gonna name any companies, you guys. It doesn't matter. Okay. I know a lot of these folks, but I just want you guys to be aware, because look, I don't care about what everybody else is doing. All I care about, right, is what I am doing and what I'm telling my people that are following me, because my message has always been the same, right? My message has always been, look, you've got to depend on yourself, okay? Those guys who go back with me for any period of time, it's always been the same. You never want to depend on any one thing at all, okay? You never want to depend on any one traffic source, any one income stream, any one, you know, program. You don't want to depend on anything that's just one. Okay? One is a bad number in business. It's a bad number in business. Okay? You don't want to have one income stream. You want to have multiple. Okay? You look at anybody who's a millionaire, you know, a true success in any industry, specifically and especially online, they all have multiple income streams coming in. Okay? Take a look at the wealthiest people in the world. They all have they have money coming in from like 50, 70, 300 different directions, okay? Okay, so, but here's where the problem comes in though. The problem starts coming in, what kind of message these people are propagating throughout the internet, okay? Zero is the worst. Yeah, that's right, Terrence, zero is the worst. You know? Yeah. But if you're gonna go for one, you might as well go for like at least 5. You know, or 10, because it takes the same amount of effort with the right strategy, okay? So the challenge that comes in, right, or the problem that begins to arise is that the next level pretenders, okay, they don't understand how to create their own success from scratch. In other words, if you take away everything, if you take away the program that they're promoting, or if you take away the system, or if you take away the product that they're selling, or if you take away their marketing plan, right, that they are plugged into, all of a sudden the bottom is gonna drop from you know in their bucket, so to speak, right? It's gonna fall off, right? Now it's okay to do that short term, right? But long term, these people are not successful, because these people can go from being up here to being all the way down here, just like that, literally overnight. Okay, proof in the pudding. We had like over 160,000 people that just got affected by this last week. Okay, last week. You see what I'm saying? So last week, 160,000 families were dependent and were pretending to be quote unquote successful. Okay, they never cared to learn the real craft of becoming an entrepreneur. Okay, what it really takes to become an entrepreneur. They never took the time to really learn how to become independent. So they just depended on a company. Again, nothing wrong, but as soon as that company just vanished just like that, because you know they got shut down by the regulators, what happened is 160,000 families, man, just became just literally, you know, got left out in the cold, right? And they're like freaking out. Potentially with kids, potentially with mortgages and car payments and life to live, right? And these guys have no clue how to get back in the game by themselves. So it's a very dangerous thing. Okay, here's where the big problem, you guys. Okay, you don't have to have Plan B, Steve. You just gotta have a Plan A that's solid, man. And the Plan A, man, is you've gotta see. It's not all bad news, man. Okay, it's bad news if you are affected by it, but it's not bad news because you can change it. Okay, and the way you change it is you learn how to become you learn how to become independent. Okay, you learn how to create your own success. You learn how to create your own economy. Doesn't matter what the really or what the what the country economy is doing. Okay, that doesn't matter. So the biggest problem with that level of pretending, okay, is that these people propagate the message that poison other people, and their message is basically like this: do nothing, okay, buy my traffic, that, by the way, I'm profiting with, okay, that I'm having a markup with, like, you know, anywhere from 15 to 50 cents on. Do nothing. They'll never tell you to learn anything, because you don't have to do nothing, man. This is a pipe dream. This is a pipe lifestyle, right? This is like everything is rosy over here, man. You do nothing. You just buy the money, or you just put the money into the system, okay? And you do nothing. Dude, I heard this message last week, and this guy was saying something like, dude, this is man, I respect the guy, right? But the message was basically like this: it's literally just like putting money in the stock market. Like, man, you don't want to do that, man, unless you want to get shut down. But here's the thing: do nothing is gonna equal being in pain long term. Okay, do nothing means maybe you get a sale or two short term, but then it can vanish just like that, and you don't want to be in that position, man. Here's the thing: I see some people, you know, coming to me with questions like, Vic, you know, what do I really need? What do I really need to succeed? Okay, why do I need an autoresponder? And I thought I would just like buy into this deal, and I don't need to spend a dime more. Okay, think, man, think. Let's talk about what does it really take to succeed? Okay, what does it really take to succeed? I'm gonna tell you guys a little idea I had. Okay, I think it's pretty cool, man. I was working out this morning, and I got this idea. I'm like, see, like, physical activity right now becomes it's official, all right, that it's one of my income producing activities right now. With guaranteed results. FIFA, nobody can guarantee results. Nobody can guarantee results. If I can't guarantee I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning, how in the world can I guarantee you results? I don't get it. Okay, but here's the thing. We've got to stop poisoning people, man. We've got to stop propagating the message that sets people up for failure. Okay? A message that basically says, hey, just give me the money, do absolutely nothing, go vacation, and money's gonna somehow miraculously come to you. Okay? A, it's not ethical. B, it's not legal. C, it's setting up people for failure. And B, those people that buy into that garbage message, right? They will do the same thing. They will propagate the same message because that's what they've been taught. And this thing gets worse and worse and worse and worse. It's just like throwing a bad apple. It's just like throwing a bad apple in a barrel, right, of good apples, and then it starts to rotten. And then other apples go bad, and then it just gets ridiculous. Okay, and then the whole thing is, you know, you have to throw out the whole thing. So unless you guys, we start, you know, and I'm talking to entrepreneurs. You guys are entrepreneurs. You guys are following me here. I don't use this for my personal stuff. This is business. So unless we as entrepreneurs online start to really talk about what it, you know, we make decision to, like, let's be real, man. Let's be authentic here. Even if it costs you a sale or two, right? If we start talking about, you know, telling people what it really takes to succeed, and if it's not the right thing for them, that's fine. They don't need to be in it, okay? But if it's right for some people, then, you know, let's tell them the truth. And what is the truth? What do you really need to succeed? You need to have a good product to promote. It's very, very simple. Okay, very simple. You got to have a product that you believe in, that's good, that's in demand of the marketplace. That's it. Okay? B is you got to promote it in a way that will build you up for long term. It's not about just making a sale of the product, okay? It's about making a sale and building you up as an entrepreneur and setting yourself up for long-term success. This is where I'm talking about building your list. This is where I'm talking about start to connect with your list in the right kind of way, okay? You got to do that, okay? If you're not doing that, you're setting yourself up for failure. Number 3, what do you need? You need to have the right kind of traffic. In other words, you need to understand how to generate traffic, how to not necessarily go get traffic, but how do you market, how do you attract people? Okay? The key person, the glue that holds everything together, it's not your product. It's not your traffic, man. It's not the system, it's you. It's you. Now, temporarily you can use some kind of system, but you've got to understand what it really takes to succeed. So somebody emails me and they're like, Vic, I thought I would just buy into this thing and I don't need to have an autoresponder. Why do I need an autoresponder? Why do I need, this funnel creation software or why do I need to spend an extra $17 a month on a tracking system, right? Why do I need to spend an extra $9 a year on my own domain? I'm like, dude, you're not getting it, man. Okay? You're not getting it. If I'm going to tell you, you do nothing, okay? You don't build your list. You don't need to build your list, man. You don't need to buy yourself a domain. Just go here, buy the traffic that I'm going to tell you, okay? That I'm selling, that I'm having a markup on, okay? And I'm double dipping into everything. And you do that, and you might make a sale. You get that high, okay? I never did drugs. I never cared about it, okay? Never will. But I hear people that try it, they get hooked on it, right? It's like going to Vegas. I don't gamble, okay? But it's like gambling. Okay, it's like gambling. I'm looking at you guys because I love to have this two-way communication street. You know how some people go and they would put, $20 in and they win, right? And then they get addicted. And then they put another and then they win again and they get more addicted, right? It's called playing the luck game. You don't want to play the luck game. So what do you need? Good product. You need to understand how to promote that product to the right people that are pre-interested. You need to understand how to talk to them, how to attract them, okay? So there's congruency in your message from your advertisement to your landing page. You building your list to how you communicate to them. It's very, very simple. It's not a rocket science, man. Anybody can do it, okay? But at the end of the day, if we start teaching people what it really takes to succeed, then people don't have this false expectation, right? Then, oh my goodness, I just need to pay, the $100 over here and do absolutely nothing, or I just put $1,000 in and expect to get rich. And then if they don't get rich, then obviously they'll complain, and then this industry as we know it, man, it's gonna get tougher and tougher and tougher to build here, because, and understandably so, rightfully so, right? Because the regulatory agencies will start to regulate more, and why? Is because a lot of people are doing things they shouldn't be doing, okay? But at the end of the day, man, only a handful of people succeed simply because most people are not willing to do what it takes, to learn the craft. You don't become the best surgeon in the world by just like watching somebody do a surgery, You don't become the best at anything if you just stay in the sidelines or just like try to buy your way into it. You never have long-term results, in your health if you just take a pill, right? And that pill is going to supposedly make you healthy and look great and shed pounds away and things like that. It's a temporary, it's illusion. It'll kill you, okay? Look at any great athletes out, any great athlete. Dude, the amount of work to be at that level, to be the best in the world at that field, how much training they go through, man. How they train to become that, okay? It's no different than you and I. It's no different, you guys, okay? It's no different than what I do, and that's why I push myself every day, and that's why, dude, it takes work. It takes smart work and it takes hard work to succeed in this industry. That's why 96 or 94% of people are failing, okay? And there's a lot of pretenders, there's a lot of people who just flat out fail, okay? And only a few people succeed, because only a few people will do whatever it takes to succeed, okay? So like, what's the core of this message, man? Miles is saying, no different from salsa dancing, it takes work. Dude, it takes work to learn any craft. Now, with, 161 people watching here live, there's, I don't know how many, there's probably going to be, a few thousand people, watching this as recorded. Tell me in the comments, what is your goal of being here, right? Is your goal to be a short-term, for it to be a short-term gig, or do you really want to build a career out of it? Okay? What does it take to build a career out of something? Well, in my opinion, it takes, it's, there's a quote, right? Something like this. If you do what most people are not willing to do, okay, then you can have what most people will never have. And, and the way, what I tell myself is this. I say, look, I'm willing to go, okay? I'm personally willing to go through short-term inconvenience, okay, to get long-term comfort. See what I'm saying? Check it out. How do you get more time? You put more time in, right? How do you get more money? You invest more money. What do you invest it to? Who do you invest it to? Okay? What do you invest it in? You. You invested in you. There should be no better investment, okay, as far as you're concerned, that you should be considering than investing in yourself. Right here. Okay? How do you get more time? Well, you get more time by putting in more time. Okay? You get what you put in. Okay? See, what you put out, you get back. Check it out. I'm willing to put, okay? I'm willing to put in 19-hour days. I'm willing to put in 19-hour days into what I do now for a short time, okay, to get a lot of time, a lot of free time later on. Make sense? You guys with me? I'm willing to do that. I got no problem with it. Okay? You wanna get more money? Start investing in yourself. But don't invest like in things that are, that you're not 100% sure about, or like, okay, what do you invest in? Like, invest in yourself. Okay, Vic, I'm just gonna go out and just blow my money, right? And just get all kinds of products. No, dude, you be smart, okay? You invest in the things that will help you become independent long term. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know the right things. Okay? The right things. And there's just a handful of them. Okay? So I'm willing to invest my money in me. I don't look at like investing money or buying a product as like, okay, I'm gonna give that guy money or whatever, right? I'm not even trying to sell you anything over here. And I don't care, you can apply this to anything. Okay? But I'm investing in myself. I'm willing to invest money in myself to get money. You see what I'm saying? People who have hard time parting with money will have hard time getting other people to part with their money when it comes to buying from them. Okay? You shouldn't see this as a, you shouldn't even think about, okay, when you have something in front of you that requires a little bit of money, to invest in yourself, as long as that thing will help you get to the next level. Okay? How do I get more energy? Okay? I put out more energy, man. I remember when I was, 35 pounds overweight, man. I had very little energy. You walk in, you walk 10 steps and you're like, your heart is pounding. Dude, how do you get more energy? You start putting out more energy. You don't have energy. Yeah, dude, you got no energy. You cannot afford not to put out that energy that you think that you don't have. See, what you do is You listen to your mind, okay? You don't listen to your body. You don't look at your financial situation. Man, I don't have the money, right? I can barely scrape by. Dude, you're gonna pay that bill anyways. Okay, next month that bill is gonna come around anyways, okay? So when I didn't have the energy, I had to find the energy to put out that energy to get more energy. You get me? Okay? So here's the idea that I had, right? Here's the idea that I had. So I thought, man, what can we do, right? I mean, obviously we can't change the world, but we can change the people that listen to us. Okay? Every one of you right here, every one of you, okay? Every one of you listening to this message, you have a responsibility. If you're selling a product that is of a transformational value, if you have people listening to you, or if you don't, if you're just starting out, okay, it doesn't matter. If you're in the online marketing space, you are a leader, because unless you want to be just in the shadows, doing nothing, earning nothing, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you want to get out there, if you want to make your difference, how many of you guys want to make your difference? Say, I want to make my difference, okay? Tell me if that's you. If you want to make your difference, say, I want to make my difference, and I'm committed, right? Let me see who you are. So if that's you, start seeing yourself as a leader, okay? Because whether you realize it, whether you want it or not, whether you like it or not, you will be looked at as a leader, regardless of what you do. So being, okay, like when you see yourself as a leader, okay, you've got to operate with a certain mindset, and that mindset is going to be, okay, I've got to be very, very careful of what kind of stuff I put out, okay, because that will be affecting people regardless. Okay, it can affect people in a good way, it can affect people in a bad way. And if it's affecting people, God forbid, if it's affecting people in a bad way, dude, you don't want that karma to come back to you. Okay? Trust me, you don't want that karma to come back to you. It's a big thing. Okay? Congrats on those of you guys who, making your difference. You committed to making your difference. Congratulations. That's awesome. So here's what you do. Okay? I can tell you what I do. I want to lead by example, man. I want to lead by example. So we're doing this thing called the 4% group, and the idea behind that is, there's the 80-20 principle. The 80%, 20% of people doing 80% of the work. Well, there's actually 80-20 within the top 20. Okay, so that makes it 96-4. Okay, Proctor talks about it. There's some people saying, there's 5% of people earning 95% of the money. There's 4%. So there was really the 80, if you look at the statistical numbers, there was the 80-20, but then there was actually 80-20 within the top 20. That means, if I want to be a 4%er, right, I want to be a 4%er in everything. I want to be a 4%er in my business. I want to be a 4%er in my income. I want to be a 4%er in my health. I want to be a 4%er in everything I do, okay? Everything. My family. If it takes a short-term inconvenience for you to get long-term comfort, when it comes to your family, are you willing to do that? See, that's what I'm doing right now. Dude, I'm putting in 19-hour days, and those guys who follow me on Snapchat, you kind of see behind the curtain, right? Do I want to do that? Heck no, man. I would much rather sleep in, dude. I want to go hang out with my family, do nothing. I want to do that. I don't want to be putting all these hours in. I don't. But I know one thing. Okay? If I got people if you listening to my message, I better lead by example. Because if I don't, I'll be a pretender, wouldn't I? Okay? I'll be a pretender, and I don't want to be a pretender. So if you're a leader, right, if you want to make your difference, start pushing yourself, man. Start pushing yourself and go as far as you can, and then go a little bit further. Trust me, you can. Okay? Your body, like, I can tell you, man, like probably the best metaphor I can tell you is like in the physical world, right? You want to change your physical, your physical body. You want to change your physique or whatever, right? You want to get more energy, and you're like, dude, I don't, you're doing your exercises or whatever, and you get to the point where you're like, you can't, you think you can't do it anymore. You think like, okay, my goodness, I'm just like, I'm like to the limit, okay? What you got to do sometimes is you just got to shut sometimes you just don't listen to your body, and you gotta, you just start listening to your mind. And your mind, you got a clear goal. You want to reach to this level. You want to get X amount of reps or X amount of, or 4 minute, in planks or whatever. Sometimes you're like 3 minutes and you're like, oh my goodness, I feel like I just can't do another second. Listen to your mind, man. Listen to your heart. Okay, don't listen to your body. Sometimes you don't look at your current situation financially. You do what needs to be done, okay, to get the long-term comfort, okay? Sometimes you don't count the hours, but you take the time to really learn your craft and decide to be the best at what you do, man. Because one day, there's going to come a time to where you can make your difference, your true difference, and spreading the good ripple that affects people positively instead of negatively. So one of the things, here's an idea I got today, right? I said, look, Miles saying those planks are tough. Yeah, man. But here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. It's a challenge, okay? It's a challenge. So a lot of people won't do it because a lot of people don't like challenges. A lot of people take the road of least resistance. A lot of people, it's easy to listen to somebody who's going to say, hey, don't do anything, push this button, invest this money, and expect returns. Try it out. Try it out, man. Okay? Try it out. Here's what I decided to do. I'm going to start a show for those people who follow me. Okay? I'm going to start a show, and the intention of the show is to really not just talk about it, because I don't want to be this guru on a high horse, saying the right things or whatever, or telling you theory, or telling you what is, supposedly right. I want to be in the trenches with you. I want you to see what I'm doing. I want you to see what it really takes to build a good business. I want you to see what it really takes to get real results, so you never have to depend on any company, any one particular program or person or traffic source or anything for that matter. Okay? So I literally just got this idea while working out today. So I'm gonna start a show. Okay? I'm figured. Look, I'm doing Snapchats anyways. Most of the time, like most days. I haven't been really deliberate with those. My Snapchat account. So I said, since I'm going to do that anyways, I'm going to be more deliberate. I don't care. I mean, tell me, do you honestly care like what I'm having for lunch today? You could care less. Right? So I see a lot of people on Snapchat right now, they're like, here's my dinner or whatever. And that's cute and funny and everything sometimes, right? Salmon. But at the end of the day, I mean, do I really care? No, not really. Yeah, it's just, So if I'm going to do my Snapchat, here's the kind of the idea that I have. Look, I want every snap to have a precise message, okay? That people that follow and people that get the information, they could apply and in a positive way, okay? So I'm going to start a show called Vig Daily, okay? To where literally it's a behind the curtain of my business and of my life. Okay, where I'm going to be snapping. Lee McCombrick, you got it, brother. Snap with purpose. Okay, snap with purpose. It's going to be called Vig Daily. I already got the domain, so already got all kinds of domains about that. So, and what I'm going to do for those of you guys who are in the 4% group, I'm going to syndicate. So every single day, okay, every single day. I know a lot of people don't get the Snapchat right now. We're going to have the training on it, and then I'll teach you how you guys can duplicate it with what you're doing. But here's the idea that I have, okay? Every day, I'm going to download all my snaps for the day. And I'm going to make them like a video reel, okay? It's going to be like an 8-minute video, probably 8 to 12-minute video. But it's an entire day. Here's what I was doing this day, okay? Here are the things. Here are my snaps for the day, right? And so I'm going to turn it into a single video, and I'm going to post it in the 4% group members area. Under that, I'll also syndicate it to my website, a home that I'm building for myself, that I'm going to be releasing here soon. So you guys will get value from it, okay? And the intention of that is not like you could care less about me, but the intention of this is I wanna lead by example. I wanna show you what it really takes, like what I'm doing to build my business, man. What I'm doing, like what does it really take? You know, what are my income producing activities? What are my, if I run into a challenge, how do I overcome that challenge? You know, if I'm at the event, what do I focus on? What's my intention of going to the event? You know, what's my intention behind doing different things that I'm doing in business and that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to be, I think it's going to bring you a lot more value with it. If you like it, tell me that you like it. Give me like a heart or something. Tell me if you like it. I'll make sure that we're still on here because you never know. You might be off, right? Ted Sims says, awesome. Senjis, I don't want to do anything that's not authentic. Like, I don't care about getting tons and tons and tons of potential followers on Snapchat if they're not targeted. I don't care about getting tons of traffic if the traffic is not pre-framed right. I don't care about getting huge list if the list is not responsive. I don't care about having huge followers on Facebook, just for the sake of having a number. What does that mean, man? I would much rather, look, I've got like 24,000 people following me here on Facebook, right? I don't have a fan page. I don't. Do I need one? Probably. I don't. But I never, I get more engagement with you guys, okay, than some people that might have 4 million followers on Facebook, and they get like 3 comments. 4 comments. A lot of people are going for the status or whatever, the number. Be real, man. Don't be a pretender. At the end of the day, results, you can't fake results. You can fake a lot of things, right? You can fake, you can fake your number of followers. You can fake, the list you have. You can even fake the screenshots with how much money you're making. But at the end of the day, you can't fool yourself, and you can't fake results. Real results cannot be faked. The reason I like the social media is because it's real. You know what I mean? Like, I can't fake the engagement. You know what I mean? I can't fake when I send out an email, what my email open rate is. I can't fake that. When I put out a training and people getting results, you can't fake that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, man, where the rubber is going to meet the road is the big R, the results. That's why you can't fake the energy either. Well, you might for a few minutes, but you'll get found out, man. SNGs, you know what I'm saying, man? So that's why I'm doing this Operation 100K in the 4% group. By the way, if you're not a 4% group member, you're crazy. I'm telling you, you are crazy. You gotta be a 4% group member, okay? You've gotta be a member of the 4% group. Right now, you can become a member for $49. I said I wouldn't pitch you, but I've gotta say this. Go join 4percentgroup.com and become a member. We just launched out this Operation 100K. What I did is I set myself, those guys who watched that first episode, man, is crazy. So I said, look, how would I go about starting from scratch? You know what I mean? Like literally starting from scratch as an affiliate. Not using my name, okay? Not using my social media, not using my email list, but starting from scratch as an affiliate. Can I build my income to $100,000 as an affiliate? There is no safety net, there is no guarantee, there is no income promises. I'm not gonna promise you, I'm not gonna tell you, I'm not gonna try to convince you. This is just my journey, that's what I'm doing. This is my personal challenge. Okay, and I document literally every click, every step, every thought, everything that I do. How I strategize a campaign, what I think about, everything is documented, right? David Jones. David Jones, man, yeah. So, and I set myself a bar, so, really, 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 really high, right? That if I reach that, based on the daily, activity that I need to do, I'll probably get me to closer to like 7 figures, okay? So in other words, I position myself for domination. And so now, it's inspiring, right? It inspires me, and to me, it fires me up. I like challenges, okay? And so more importantly, it's going to show people really what it takes to succeed. Okay? So what will you need? If I'm going to build a house, man, I'm going to need a hammer. Okay? Online business is simpler, but people will need some tools. An autoresponder is a must. Okay? An ability for you to capture the lead and build, your front end, a sales system to where you can capture the lead. And again, everything is like, you don't have to, it's not hard work, it's just smart work, and it's positioning yourself up for long-term success. So I'm documenting this whole thing, and I think it will really, 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 make a positive impact in the industry that we serve. Because I'm not going to tell you, you're just going to click this button and become rich. It's not going to happen. You might have somebody make a sale for you, but if something happened to that somebody tomorrow, and all of a sudden you found yourself without that somebody, can you do it? Is a big question. And if you said no, deep down in your heart of hearts, right? So you've got to do both, man. You can use systems, you can use shortcuts or whatever, but just realize what it really takes to succeed. Never, never, ever, ever underestimate smart, strategic, massive action. Okay? Never underestimate that. So if you guys have any questions, I might just answer some questions here for you. Appreciate all the hearts, appreciate all the shares, appreciate you guys' love here. You guys are awesome. Terrence, okay. Hey Vic from Seattle. Hey Melanie, what's up? Okay, if you have any questions, I'm gonna answer a few questions here, and I'm gonna do some studio work today. All right. I'll be seeing you guys, some of you guys in the Scottsdale this weekend. But if we click this, and this button, could that lead to success? Farhan, it could, but you've got to understand that if long term, see what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, man. There is nothing wrong with, the reason I build systems is to help people get started. But the core message is never depend on the system long term, okay? There's a fine line between, like, okay, I'm brand new, just getting started, so I don't need it, I have to figure everything out by myself. No, not really. But you gotta operate with the right mindset that focuses on long-term success, right? On long-term, on longevity, not just a short-term gig, So you can do both. Just realize that you've gotta have that long-term vision for you to be independent. So if you're in the 4% group, we have a webinar, team webinar tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. The training in the 4% system is delivered as, like, when I take a step, I document it, man. It's really, 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 really simplistic. If I go and, okay, my agenda today is I want to run this campaign, and here are the steps I need to do to set up a campaign. I'm literally breaking each step into individual video, and I'm going to say, okay, step number 1, here's what I need to do first. Boom. Get it done. It's documented in the video. I've got it done. I go to step number 2, and this is for today's episode, right? So I do step number 2, step number 3, step number 4, and so it's, we're demystifying, the process. Okay, when Yamin is saying, any comments on traffic? So what do you want to know about traffic, Yamin? Where to get traffic? If my comments on traffic, man, has always been, learn how to generate traffic, not necessarily get traffic, how to generate traffic. You got to control your marketing message. If you cannot control your marketing message, then I would think twice about it. I want to make sure the traffic coming to my sites is pre-framed and they are responding to the message I want them to respond to, and not just respond to, okay, get a job and work from home, and then people realize, well, it's not really a job, it's kind of, it's a business, and so people get pissed, Okay, probably a lot more, including traffic, including where do I get traffic, how do I set up campaign, it's all there, man, it's all there. We're going to remove every possible excuse for somebody not to make it. Literally every possible excuse. Okay? Or Yi Ying Yi Li. Sorry, butchering your name there. Okay, you guys, look, I've gotta jump off. Appreciate you all. Stay awesome, man. Make a decision to be great. You know, to be great, not just like, okay, I'm gonna scrape by. It's another day in the marketing. I've gotta do this. I've gotta do. Look, like, you know, operate on your toes. Don't run your business on your heels, man. You know what I mean? Don't, like, when you run your business on your heels, you're like passive. You're like, dude, I've got, you know, I have to do this. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do nothing, man. You don't have to wake up to today. You can just lay in bed all day. You know what I mean? You don't have to listen to this video. You don't have to be here. You don't have to do anything. And if your attitude is like, I have to, you're presupposing that you don't want to, obviously. And what you're really saying is, you know, I don't really want to do this, but I must. So therefore, your attitude is not congruent with what you're saying. And you feel terrible and you get terrible results. You get to do this, man. You woke up today. You have a shot today, man. What are you going to do today to make today great? What are you going to do today to make your difference today? What are you going to do today that will help you tomorrow? You know what I mean? Don't say, I have to do this. I say I get to do this, man. You run your business on your toes, not on your heels. Be like this, man, with a hey, I'm gonna, this is fun, man. I want to do this. This is fun. I get to make my difference. I get to say something that might potentially change people's lives, right? I get to produce something. I get to create something. You're a creator. You're not, don't have a consumer mindset. Even if you're just getting started, you know, how can you create? What would you create? Think about the future. Think about what you could possibly do, right, as a creator. It's better to be creators than consumers, right? The Bible says it's better to give than to receive, right? It's true, man. It's a lot cooler when you can do something that helps somebody else than for you to always be this, you know, don't get this wrong, but I call these people leeches, right? They never want to do anything. They always have, give me, and I want to have everything for free. And if I don't get it for free, I'm going to complain. They're leeches, okay? They're just sucking the stuff in, right? You don't want to be that person, man. We're creators. Entrepreneurs are creators, man. Entrepreneurs, people that can sell, that can move the product, people who are like you, like me, right? We can get behind a good product. We can promote. We can move the product. We make the economy go around, okay? Look, there is nothing wrong with you being successful. There is nothing wrong with you making a ton of money, because if you do that, A, you can employ people. B, you can spend money, right? C, you contribute to the economy, man, after all. You know, it's not about just always getting. It's about giving. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Stay awesome. Stay blessed. And I will be seeing you when I'm seeing you. All right? See ya.